Hey everyone, I have a guest today again, Alex. Um,
Hey, everyone.
how's it going, Alex?
Good, good. Yeah, it's Sunday, 4 p.m. I guess my time. I don't know about you. I guess it's early in the morning, right, for you, or
Yep,
it's not?
it is 8 a.m. here where I'm
Oh,
at right now. Yeah, I'm in Guatemala. Where are you at?
nice. Yeah, I'm based in Germany, Berlin. So it's
Oh,
yeah, big difference in time. Yeah. So
yeah.
thanks for making it so early. So to adjust.
No, thanks to you for taking time out of your Sunday and showing up. For the ones that don't know Alex, I'm just gonna share my screen right now, and I have the YouTube channel here. I noticed that you have almost 1,100 subscribers, only 39 videos. That is a lot of subscribers for a few videos only. I also noticed here that you talk mainly about Go. You mind sharing what your channel is about?
Yeah, it's a spot on mostly Go. I love Go. Been Go developer for 8 years maybe. Now the channel is much younger, but yeah, people actually ask me this like, wow, you have 39 videos or 30 something and then 10,000 subscribers, but just like the channel existed for I don't know now maybe 6 or 7 years, but there've been some lucky videos with 70K views. So yeah, just got lucky
Oh,
sometimes. But I did a huge break for maybe a few years. I had a baby born 3 years ago, so now she's 3 years old. So now I'm kind of can get back to that before no
mm-hmm.
time, no energy. Now,
Oh.
yeah, starting kind of recording again. Yeah,
Oh, so it's 7 years. I just noticed that 7 years, 6 years ago. Then you stopped for a little while, and then you resumed four
yeah,
years ago. And oh, you
yeah,
stopped, and then 6 months ago is when you started again.
yeah. Embarrassing, I know, but I
Okay.
mean, it's not putting a food to my table. So just it's a side thing.
Yeah.
I don't make any money out of that.
Yeah.
Just to reach the community, obviously to tell people something to share. And I do it not only here. I also have Substack newsletter. I started a year ago, but yeah, it's kind of yeah. Now actually becoming more serious. Maybe have to make more videos. But man, I don't know about you, but to make long form content requires energy and time. First, you prepare what you talk about, then you do a video, then post editing, then uh, I mean, I
Upload
kind
it.
of
Yeah.
yeah. Actually,
It's a
upload times just like just that is few hours, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
No, it's a full-time job almost, right? Because it requires a
yeah,
lot of dedication, a lot of work. Yeah. Every video that I upload, man, I just try to do them fast. If you notice my videos, I don't have any fancy edits, nothing. I just cut the things that I don't want in the video and I just upload it because it's a lot of work. I do understand that. And
yeah.
you're gonna be talking then about Go mainly in your YouTube channel. Is that what people should expect from your videos? Mainly Go or other topics?
Yeah, mainly Go. I think it's we could sum it up as backend engineering in general. So things like maybe mostly web as well, some DevOps things, but I would say Go 80%.
Hmm.
But yeah, I'm also looking maybe to expand because obviously it's not only Go what we are doing with engineering, well, what I'm doing personally. So maybe we'll expand in the future. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. I'm interested in learning Go, so I know where to go and I know who to
Yeah.
ask.
Yeah.
I'll be I'll be bothering you. And
Yeah.
okay, so one of the questions that I usually add here in the topics is like where people find you. I already shared your channel. Do you want to share anything else about yourself?
Yeah, I mean, where people can find me, it's YouTube, where I'm active socially. So I mentioned the same name. It's called packageman.tech. Um, can I share the screen, or you can
Yeah.
type it? Cool. So yeah, there is this more kind of text version of it's a newsletter, right? It's also free, but people can read this stuff there. Here it's more interesting. Here I write it not alone. I write with my friend Julian. And I write an article, he writes an article, we collaborate. It's a newsletter, also free. Maybe we do 2 posts a month.
Okay.
Maybe sometimes more, sometimes less. So yeah, another place. That's it. Maybe on X. There's a social network that I use. It's where people can find the link. I think on my channel somewhere.
Yeah, I noticed it
Probably
there.
here.
It's there. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Oh, actually, yeah. These 3 links where you can find me, right? So very small Discord. Just opened it. That's actually how I learned about you and few other folks in the dev community. Recently, everyone has their own Discord servers,
Yeah.
big or small.
Yeah.
Some people have thousands of people there. In my Discord, there are maybe 20 at the moment. But it's a nice small group there, yeah.
Nice. Okay. So there is where people can find you then. And why did you decide to get started with all this? Like, why did you like sharing stuff? You like teaching stuff to people? Or what was like the goal?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I remember since I learned how to maybe make some web blogs. So it's still in the university times, for example, I already had a blog. And maybe in the beginning, so I'm originally from Belarus. My mother tongue is Russian, Belarusian as well, right? But there was a blog I was doing in Russian, also about programming. Back then, it was PHP, MySQL, maybe other things. So I always had a blog, and it was personal. And I like to share. I don't know for what reason. I just like to write because I know that for sure now, the more you write, the more you understand things. And let's say you want to write about, a database. You know maybe something about that already, but if you want to put it on the paper, you're like, I'm a little bit embarrassed to put that, so I'm going to go and learn more about that, so then I can be more confident, and then you learn better, people learn from you, so kind of win-win was always like that. And yeah, you check the channel, so it was like 7 years ago. Yeah, I wanted to try video content, I believe, just once, and always was afraid. I'm not an introvert, no, for sure not, but I'm kind of, a geek nerd, right? Like being on video is not always first thing you think about.
Yeah.
But back then it was popular. I was watching some YouTube channels about from some programmers. I even don't remember what was popular 7 years ago. I think the Go was developing, so there was some nice Go channels out there. I remember, I think Bill Kennedy, one name, was kind of had a great YouTube, and yeah, a few others. I don't remember the names. I'm like, well, I can do something like that, and turned out it's not that easy, as we already noticed. But yeah, that's the motivation out there. So. Yeah, kind of, to reinforce the learning and put it out there and build the community maybe, but it's a secondary goal, right?
Yeah. And hopefully someday make some money, I got monetized, I don't know, like six months in when I started with the YouTube thing, but
nice.
I don't make anything at all. It's just, I don't know, it's basically nothing, but hopefully, someday I get lucky and my videos explode or something like that, but I'm still waiting, right? Still waiting.
It's important, I think, to maybe not to get monetized too much and become rich. I think it's very hard with things like that, but at least to make sure that, you do your work and at least you get something back, right? I like a Substack platform now, because people can subscribe there and you can have different benefits. It's very, very similar to YouTube, what they call memberships now. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
But
so what is that?
Just to put food on the table, it's never enough, YouTube. And I've seen people with, 100,000 subscribers. I think it's just easier to get a job at this point.
Yeah, that is correct. That's what that's what I have to do. I'm not, I don't have a job at the moment. I'm looking for, but yeah, it's not it'll not be enough. It'll take maybe a lot of time to provide for the family. That's the main thing, right? At least for me, provide for my family. But we'll see. Okay, so I see that you started 7 years ago. We already explained why you started with YouTube. What is this? What is this Substack thing that you mentioned? Is it like video content related as well?
No, it's purely text,
Just text.
and
Okay.
it's like newsletter, right? So it's just text that arrives to subscribers' email box, and they can read it. Yeah, it's this platform Substack.com become quite popular recently. A pragmatic engineer, for example, from a Gergely, I forgot his last name, bite size something. Yeah, so quite interesting. There are issues with that. I think I'm using it for a year now, and it doesn't support syntax highlighting. And so
really?
my articles always hands-on, always a lot of code or some scripts, and it just looks like a great text. I mean, what, like we are 2025? Can you just use some open source library? Just highlight this syntax, please. It's markdown.
Yeah.
It bothers me a lot, but otherwise it's good to some extent. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. All right, thanks for sharing that. I didn't know. I think Roman is the one that talked about that, but I have not paid attention to it too much. Now, just to learn a little bit more about you, you want to share two of your favorite music bands, just so people get to know you a little bit better?
I don't think they will know about me anything. It's just I'm easy person. I can listen to everything, but if you look at my music habits for the last 20 years, or I don't know, it's been mostly a classical rock to some extent. So the Beatles for sure. I mean, maybe in the past, like things like AC/DC, but that's not anymore. Or let's say Oasis, things like very boring. But you know, if people ask you, like, you have one album or a CD you can put with you, you can take with you to a desert, let's say, for the rest of your life, that would be the Beatles probably.
The Beatles.
Like there is some rock. It's also easygoing, nice lyrics. I think what was important for me. Lyrics are always important. Another thing, the band, which is very unpopular because so I'm from Belarus, and when I was in university, for example, in school, Russian rock was popular, right? The music is shit. It's I mean, it's copy paste of Western rock, which is, I mean, good, but it's the same. There is nothing new, but the lyrics are great, and because it's in your mother tongue, hits you better.
Okay.
So the band, for example, it's 3 letters, DDT, for example. Very old dudes now, but kind of, yeah, things like that.
DDT.
But I can
Okay.
DDT, so 2D and T. Daniel Thomas. Let's say.
Oh, this
Right,
one.
DDT band. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's a Russian band.
Yeah. It's not bad. The music maybe could be better. It's very simple, but the lyrics, if you grow up in these years, for example, I mean early 2000s, like when I was in school. So I started university in 2007. It was quite popular, but because I listened back then a lot, I can listen it to now anytime, right? But also, for example, right now, when I work, right, I don't I don't listen to this kind of music because I mean lyrics disturb you much. So I just put some,
Yeah.
yeah, I put upside trance, for example, right now. I'm like it's, I just give so much energy, yeah, and just like let's go, and I'm like have my coffee, have my Neovim, or not only Neovim but just some setup, and I just go for an hour, like kind of this a session, and then maybe in the evening would be some lo-fi beats to smooth the day, right? Yeah.
I don't listen to any music when I'm working because I get distracted, and I just start paying more attention to the music because I used to play the guitar when I was younger for a long time. You know, I played the guitar a lot. So I pay attention to the music. I don't pay too much attention to the lyrics, but I pay attention to the guitar, to the bass, to the drums, and they distract me a lot. So I just don't listen to anything. I could listen probably to classical music or something, but Yeah. You mentioned you started university 2007. I started university in 2007 as well. I dropped out. I just went there for a year. So I guess we must be around the same age, probably. I'm 37 now. 37, I think. Yeah,
Yeah,
37.
yeah. I'm at 35.
35? Oh,
Speaking. Yeah.
okay. Okay.
Go,
Nice.
go. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, similar age, similar generation. Is it called X? Because or
I have
millennials?
no idea.
I was,
Millennials, I
I'm
think.
like, I think we're millennials, right?
Yeah. My
Thanks God we are not Zoomers and all of this.
yeah, but that's what
Weird
the
people.
old generations think about new generations all the time, right? Like
It's
our
always,
generation
yeah.
is better. Yeah, that's the way it is.
Yeah.
And what movies would you say are your favorite movies? You have two you want to bring up?
Yeah, even harder a lot. I like good a tragedy maybe or drama. So the one like just comes to mind is called Schindler's List, for example.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, like hard to
You
watch
cried?
movies that yeah maybe the first time or the second time. I think I cry actually quite often. You don't need to
Hide it.
give me a tragic movie to cry. It's just something where someone dies, I'm already crying. No, I'm kidding, but yeah, I think I cried. But I watched it's old movie, so
Yeah, I
watched
love it
in
too.
the university. Yeah, but also another one would be Star Trek. So I'm Star Trek fan. I haven't watched in the last years. There is maybe nothing new, but Star Trek, yeah, it's a lot. I wasted probably hours on that. I'm not sure if I watched everything because some newer ones are on the platforms where maybe I don't have access to, like Disney or others. Right? I watch what's on Netflix, for example, or originally somewhere on Amazon Prime, but mostly all. So you can kind of how do they call people who watch Star Trek like fans? Trekkies, right? So extremely
Oh,
Trekkie.
okay, I see. I never watched it. I started watching it, I don't know, with my wife. I think it's in Netflix, right? They added something in Netflix.
Yeah, there are a few. I think quite many, maybe like the original ones on Netflix, and a few newer ones. Because how it's called, I think Star Trek Discovery. So with much better graphics, but yeah, it's not old school. It's also yeah.
But you like the old school one, the classic one.
Yeah, even if they're so basic and so, I think they've been made in 70s or 80s for sure. But I think the original ones even in late 70s. I'm not quite sure, but no, maybe it's too early. 80s for sure, right? So yeah, I like because people had to make something without programs,
All the
right? Without, I mean,
technology.
yeah, they had to draw a plane or starship on a paper, probably have a 3D model and kind of move it around like I'm
Yeah.
fine and like and everything was about the script, the characters, and I think that's why yeah, I don't like newer movies, kind of Marvel. It's not about characters anymore. It's about like I don't know
CGI, just the effects,
yeah,
basically, right? The green screen, nothing else.
right, yeah.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I like old movies too. Not this old. I have to give it a try. I have to give it a fair shot. I just started watching it, and I don't know why I didn't continue. Right, but yeah, good to know. And are you into video games or not at all?
I think you can call me like that, but I haven't played in a while, so I maybe had even video games addiction. I would say maybe it's not an addiction, but I played Dota 2 for a long time. Just Dota in general. I started also university playing Dota. Wasted a lot of time on that. Like, yeah, I played a bit recently. I think in the last half year, maybe haven't played at all.
No.
I love the game. I don't like the community. It's for people who play CS:GO, for example, Dota, maybe League of Legends. The games are great. They're competitive for people who like competitiveness. Like build the teams and improve your skills. These are great games, but the language people talk there in the chats, in the voice, it's just a trash, kind of coming on you. You exit the game like, what did you just hear? And yeah.
It's too much. I don't know. There's too many trolls. Too many. I don't know. Do people get offended? They start cursing and all that.
Yeah. What about you? Do you play any games?
No, I don't play any games. I did play when I was younger. I used to play. I had a Nintendo 64. I liked Ocarina of Time, Zelda. I liked Tony Hawk as well. Played that game a lot. I couldn't save at the time, so when I played Zelda, if I turned the Nintendo off, I would lose all the progress. But nowadays, I don't play anymore. I haven't played in years. I tried playing Skyrim. I did it live in my channel, but
Nice.
I just feel that I'm just wasting my time. To be honest, I'm like, my back is hurting. I'm sitting here, my back is hurting, and I'm just doing this. I could be doing something else, and I just switch it off. So
Yeah.
I just play if I'm going to be doing it live, maybe in a YouTube video. But other than that, no, not anymore. Yeah.
I don't know. I think I also played Skyrim. If I remember correctly, I played it on the Switch, because I think there is a Switch version of that, if I'm not mistaken. But should be. So I played Witcher on Switch, but I think it's waste of time to some degree, yes. But also I think it's good experience, because you can relax, especially in these games. So it's not Dota, right? You maybe play an hour a day. I don't know. I think it could be beneficial. I actually worked in a company recently. For 5 years, I was a founding engineer there, and not so long ago, I switched the job, and we've been helping gaming companies to improve kind of experience in the games. So it was really interesting to see that, play, because the games we play, it's very embedded in our kind of brain as humans. We kind of develop as play, we learn with play. Like, I have a kid now, and the play, it's kind of part of upbringing, right? It's kind of important, I think, to have some sort of play in our lives.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's not Dota 2, but I think things like Skyrim,
yeah.
new Zelda could be great, I think.
Yeah, I like going to see the nature in Skyrim. I just like walking around, looking at the water, looking at the trees, the sound in Skyrim, the music and all that stuff. I love it. I don't know, it's pretty relaxing. I love the way that the nature looks and all that. But yeah, I played it a lot when I was young. Oh man, a lot. I spent hours and hours and hours. I think I had my fair share of gaming already. And I don't know. I bought a Nintendo Switch like a year ago, maybe. I decided, I want to play one more time. I bought the Switch. I bought Smash Bros. That's the game that I like a lot. I bought Zelda as well. And I played it for like, man, a month. And then I just left it there. I never used it again. So I just sold it. So I think games are done for me at this point. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now moving on to other stuff. What do you use for note taking? Do you take any notes? What do you use?
I think everyone takes notes, right? Recently, maybe not so recently for sure, maybe half a year at least, it was Obsidian.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't use any plugins there. I just need a nice looking tool to make notes. I want it to be minimalistic. I'll be sharing my screen maybe in the future. So the setup is really minimalistic. So I don't like many plugins, but I think Obsidian is great. I tried GitHub, I remember, in the past even. I just had a private repository on the GitHub, and I would collect my notes during the day and then git push at the end of the night. I think I like, because privacy, no tools. You can use Neovim to write or whatever your editor. But like, I think back then it was maybe some VS Code at least, but doesn't matter. So yeah, used Apple Notes as well. What was before Obsidian, like any popular nodes? Like what are you using? Like I think from your videos I've seen that you use Obsidian as well, but you also hard on Neovim, so maybe you do edit nodes in Neovim, right? And then
Yeah.
save it as files. Do you sync them somewhere? Because that's also important. Like I want to have my nodes synced. It's really important between phone and a laptop, and maybe some other devices if I want to.
Yeah. So I started with Google Docs years ago. That's where I started, with Google Docs. And I have a lot of notes in Google Docs. I didn't know any better, right? I had a lot of images in my notes and all that stuff. And I spent like that for years. I don't know, a lot of years. Then I don't know how I met Obsidian. So I started taking notes in Obsidian. I love the tool. I installed a lot of plugins and I customized it to my liking, and I used it for a long time. And it was wonderful, right? That's how I met the Markdown format. And then I just decided to, I don't know, I tried Neovim, and now I just use Neovim. I don't even have Obsidian installed anymore. I think I have it installed, but I haven't opened it in a while, right? I did like the fact that I could view images in Obsidian, so I can now view images in Neovim. So I don't have a reason to use Obsidian anymore, right? So I migrated basically my vault. Let me see if I can show this. I hope I don't have any sensitive stuff here. Yep, my vault. This is like basically my Obsidian vault. All of it is here. And yep, I just migrated all of this. Well, I didn't have to migrate anything. I just opened my vault in Neovim basically. And that's what I use now. I just open the vault and I keep taking my notes there. And I have a script that automatically pushes my notes every 3 minutes. If I don't edit a file in 3 minutes, let's say I edit a file, I edit another file. If nothing has been updated in 3 minutes, it automatically pushes them. I don't care about the commit messages in the notes, you know. I just push everything to GitHub. And you brought up privacy, right? I have them in a private repo. I know my notes don't belong to me anymore because they're in GitHub. Even if the repo is private, you know, AI is definitely being trained on them. What do you think about that? Do you care about having your notes in a private repo, or?
Yeah, and maybe actually if it's just a nodes, because there are different types of nodes. There are nodes that it's maybe a shopping list. So I'm on my phone and maybe, I'm working with my computer, like, oh, I have to buy this thing tomorrow, and just like quickly a note. And then I'm with my phone, so I'm on the street, I have this note, right? So, and I use Obsidian iCloud sync, right? Is it what you're using as well? Is this sync or?
No. I don't use I didn't use the Obsidian sync tool. No, just in repo in GitHub, I have a script that just checks if there are changes in my notes repo, right? The my Neovim repo, and this one, the one that I was showing here. If there are not changes in the last 3 minutes, it will upload them to, just send a commit message, just upload to GitHub.
Because I'm not sure if it's called, because there is this thing that, so I'm not paying for Obsidian, but there is thing that Obsidian Sync, which is paid version. I'm using, I think, just called, it's maybe Obsidian Sync, but it's just to iCloud. So I have a folder, iCloud folder is there.
Okay.
And I think actually, technically, I can open it with Neovim as well if I want to, because at the end, it's just markdown files.
Yep.
I can edit them. It's actually a good point. I could just use Neovim now to try them, and this be just a sync engine, you know, to make sure that this is synced. That's great.
To your phone, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure how. Not a big user of iCloud, so I'm not sure if I save the file, does it sync automatically?
Yeah.
Like
yeah. It works if you keep them on iCloud. I kept them like that for quite some time in iCloud, but the only reason why I switched them over to GitHub is because if I messed something up, I didn't have version control in my notes. So if I deleted something by mistake, I couldn't go back in a specific node, right? So I just decided, I'm gonna move them out of iCloud and I'm just gonna keep them in GitHub. So I like just the versioning control, aspect of it. But I did have them in iCloud for some time.
Right.
Yeah.
And to your original question about how do I feel if my notes are somewhere there, I'm thinking how to go more self-hosted now in the next few years, and I'm already doing something. I have some open source projects maybe for some things. I think the biggest challenge here is storage and networking, right? So how can you implement all of that in my ideal world, right? So all my, and maybe it's not about notes, but notes as well, but mostly photos and videos and maybe code to some extent. But code, I think it's fine. I'm still open source person, so I will still push the code probably public unless it's for the company. But in the ideal world, I would have my own server with some SSD disks, right, and where I put it. There are some good alternatives to Netflix, for example. It is Plex, for example, right? At least it was. And maybe looking something like that in the next, maybe developing something for myself. It requires time. That's the issue. Here is I'll push it, and then you pay because now who knows who shares or who owns your information.
Yeah.
For example, on a Substack specifically, we went by default. They enable the kind of you give access to Substack to train the AI model from your articles that you write.
Okay.
I mean, cool. I mean, you already take a fee from subscriptions. I guess it's not enough. You now also want that. Cool. So, but at least there's no option to disable that, and that's what I did right away when I heard about that. But
in theory,
by default,
right?
is in theory. Who knows? It's with LLMs. It's a bunch of text winded up together in a model. That is kind of very hard to prove where it came from. Like my articles, they're also not they're not white papers that are very unique to track. They're more kind of shareable knowledge, some of which you could read somewhere else. Obviously, it's different. It's my view, it's my code, but still hard to prove, right? But I spent time on that. I want some ownership and some privacy there. But now the world is different.
Yeah, now it is different. Everyone is after your information, especially to train LLMs, I know that my notes are in GitHub. They are private. They say that they don't use them to train, but I don't believe any of that. I know they're being used. And I'm like, okay, whatever, But I don't know. I don't keep any passwords, of course, there or anything like that. All of that stuff is in 1Password. That's the tool that I use. I don't know.
Right.
It's complicated nowadays, right? And but you don't care too much. You have your notes in iCloud right now anyway, right? So Apple has them, right? So yeah. Self-hosting. I do have my homelab here. I have 3 servers, and I have a storage solution, something basic implemented, right? So I can lose one of the servers. The 2 of them remain up. I still have some redundancy. I could keep my stuff locally, but I don't trust my hardware and my skills too much. I trust GitHub more, so I know that my information is going to be there, when I need it.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
That's the best fear of mine whenever I'll go self-host this storage, right? So SSD devices, they have, I mean, they get better, but still they have some sort of expiration time, right? Yeah. And there is some percent of just accidental damage to them. Also human error, right? Like putting a file there, I don't know, whatever you're going to use, rsync or scp, not right folder, I removed. Did you have a backup? Because what we do, iCloud, iCloud is basically S3 on just version. So kind of another way would be, right, you have a S3 bucket and then you put there. Obviously, it's moving from iCloud to Amazon. It's the same, right? So some sort of cloud, but there are backups there. And then we also as developers got used to that, right? You have buckets, you put object version in there or some backup policy or database have backups. Well, once you do all self-hosted, yeah, you need to be, careful about that and know the tools, which is a good challenge, I think, for engineers, for software thinkers as
Yeah.
us, just to go there. So, yeah, but time, yeah. And
Time.
I think if you spend too much time on playing games, maybe better some building your home
Your
lab.
home
Right?
lab. Yeah, yeah. That's what I switched games for nowadays, for my home lab. And I spent, man, you spent days, months, years in home lab stuff because you have to think about everything. DNS, storage, certificates. How do you want to have stuff containerized? Of course you do nowadays, Do you want to have a single server, but if it dies, all of your stuff dies. You want to have 3 servers, man, it's crazy. And
Yeah.
I noticed in your videos that you use Mac OS. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yep. And why did you choose Mac OS and not Linux, like all the cool kids?
I've been using Linux for maybe 5 years. So during the university and also at my second job. So the first job was Windows, as I remember. So whatever that they give you, obviously. But in university specifically, I remember I had this HP laptop. I forgot HP something, Pavilion or something. I forgot. Kind of cool laptop. You could install Windows or a Linux. Yeah, I think I had Ubuntu, Debian, and another one I forgot. I think it was either OpenSUSE or Mint. So I remember because it was green logo. And I think OpenSUSE has this lizard there, right? And I'm not sure actually. It's long ago, more than 15 years ago. But yeah, I had Linux and then Windows on the first job. Second job they gave me a laptop with Ubuntu pre-installed. I'm like, cool. And everyone, I don't know why, but everyone in tech department at least used Linux, Ubuntu mostly, which was fun. And then actually Macs were not that popular back then, at least in my companies I worked in. It was either Windows or maybe Ubuntu, for example, or other Linux distros. And then I was living in Vietnam back then, I remember. And then everyone started buying MacBooks in the company. And in the company, buying MacBooks for everyone. And I'm like, I have everything installed here, on my Ubuntu, like editors. It's not much, but still. And actually back then it was hard because now everything is in the cloud. The code, the tools. Back then you relied a little bit more on the local setup.
Yeah.
You didn't want to lose because some files were actually only local, and then you copied them either to USB stick or somewhere else, not to forget. And you always keep this in mind. Nowadays, I'm pretty sure any laptop here in my apartment I could just throw away. I won't lose anything. Not a single byte of information, nothing. Back then, not that popular. And so I was with Ubuntu for some reason. Like, I'm not gonna change. And I think 1 year later, everyone had Macs, and I still had Ubuntu. And the IT guy was kind of like, "Hey, you are the last person in the company who has Linux," and I still had it. Yeah. And then I got my personal Mac, and I think switched to Mac because of the hardware. OS. I have some questions. I don't think it's very ergonomic to some extent, and it's not about that. I think it's just a proprietary software, so having issues with that, right? Can't customize much. I'm seeing from your videos. I've seen maybe like 5-10 of your videos channel. You use window managers, for example, and I guess use Yabai, right, or something like that. And there are other. I tinkered with them for last year, pain in the ass, because I'm not sure what they're written in, but they're so slow. These sketchy bars, you control them with JavaScript. I think it's not about Yabai. I think Yabai is different, but still has some issues. I think others like stretchy bar, I think it's called.
Sketchy bar, the bar at the very top, this one.
And then there is a simple bar. There's one as well.
Simple bar. Yeah, I tried simple bar. I didn't like simple bar. But yeah, sketchy bar, this one is just a combination of bash scripts. You have to write a lot of bash to have all of this stuff here at the top. Yep.
Yeah, which is okay, right? But then, because on Macs you also have these menu bar, which is the default one. You have to hide it by default.
Yep.
And it's not that easy because you have to, like, there is no easy configuration file. Like in Linux, for everything, there will be a configuration file. You can uninstall something. You can switch from a KDE to GNOME, etc. While here it's you're stuck in this software that's hard to customize, which is okay for some things, but I think for you as well, agree. Like it's especially now, it's M4 ARM architecture, battery life, super solid hardware. As just like looking at it, working with it. Like I have a MacBook Pro from 8 years ago, still functioning. Like the memory is a little bit not enough now because, and it's not problem of the MacBook actually. It's just the software now needs more memory, so there are issues with that. But it's still working. So yeah, kind of the hardware. And back to a question, like I want to get back to Linux. I'm not sure, like this year, maybe next year. I don't know. And maybe you have some suggestions for everyone who watched this video on the hardware, right? I've seen a framework laptops, and some people say great, some people say not so great. Then because I'll be using Linux at home, so I probably will need PC, right? So there is this. I mean, framework has desktops as well. System 76. I'm not sure.
System 76. Yep, I've heard about them. I was thinking about getting a Linux laptop, and my choice was gonna be one of those System 76. I don't want to do my research because you have to make sure that, I don't know how it works now, but back in the day, only a few laptops were fully compatible with Linux, right? Wi-Fi didn't work in some of them because there were not drivers. I don't want to deal with any of that. So if I was going to get one, was probably going to be a System 76. But I noticed this guy Dreams of Code. I don't know if you've seen him on YouTube.
I definitely heard, maybe not on YouTube, but on X, for sure, yeah.
Yep. I noticed the video, I don't know, a few days ago, and he's using a framework laptop. And I think he's on Linux, right? So I have no idea what hardware to use on Linux, to be honest. But I noticed that he's using that, so I was like, interesting. So it would be probably that or a System 76. And are you fully switching to Linux, or you want to just try it out?
So I want to have Linux for personal things. So like I'm employed, and at my work I need to use Macs for sure. It just company policy, I guess. Actually, I've seen people use Linux there, so I think it's the same. But it means I have to ask my employer, I guess, to send me different machine, which I don't want to. But for home, I want to try. I want to get, because I have monitor, I have keyboard, so I don't need laptop. I don't travel with laptops often, so I don't need mobility, which is great because laptops for Linux, they suck. Just get MacBook and I travel with it. Just get Air. That's fun. Unless you're very against Apple. But yeah, I just want to have some nice looking block that's not really loud on my desk, connected to everything, and be good with that. And let's see what distro I'll install. I think System 76 comes pre-installed with Pop OS, which is so. Haven't tried that, but seems solid. People use it. I don't want to compile everything myself, so definitely not something like Gentoo or Gentoo or Arch. No, none of that. Ubuntu is probably too corporate at the point. Yeah, they have laptops as well, right? So
laptops, nice. And we're going for a desktop, right?
Yeah, so I've seen these, right? And they're very different. And I've seen some reviews that people say that they're becoming hot and loud. So I'm like, I need some honest review, right? I'm like, memory is good. It's AMD is good, so it's not ARM. But I mean, 64 GB RAM, so the Spark Premium, 2 terabytes. So you see, kind of, I think it's a good price for such configuration, right? Will it last long? Will it be silent enough? I don't know. How do you get upgrades if something is not right? But Yeah.
Okay, interesting. So you're thinking about getting to try Linux in something personal. So you started
Yeah.
with Mac because of work. I also started with Mac because of work. I was a Windows user, like most of us are, and I then got used to Mac. If you use it like the default, like you were mentioning, right? If you use Mac OS, the way that it's intended to be used, I don't like the operating system too much. So I have customized it a lot. With the window manager, I just use something basic, right? Just one application on the screen at a time. I don't like to complicate things, right? So I can switch between my terminal basically and my browser. Those are the ones that I use the most. And YouTube, I also use YouTube a lot. So without the window manager, Mac OS, I don't know, my applications would be all over the place. They would have different sizes. No, that's what I use the window manager for basically, right? Just to keep stuff a little bit more organized, but I like to keep it simple. And what are your thoughts on Windows? Do you still like Windows? Do you still use it? You hate Windows or what?
I don't want to, swear too much on this YouTube, and probably I wouldn't. So I don't know. I should decide. I think I never made this decision. Do I love? I think like, for example, I've seen and I haven't used Windows for real. I haven't even seen it for a really long time. I think I can't believe people use Windows. So it's probably, correct me if I'm wrong, but is it the most used operating system out there? I mean,
Yeah.
for personal use, Linux
Yeah.
is actually probably out there. I mean, every Android is Linux, and was like there are 6 billion at least devices out there, even if not more, like IoT stuff. The kernel itself is quite small, right? So the Linux is not. It's not a distro, right? It's a kernel. But Windows, I haven't seen it. Last time I had Windows was in school actually, and then after what was I know, as I mentioned, my first job, right? I remember I had troubles with all these command line tools. Now they have what? You have the proper terminal. They have WSL or something, right?
They have WSL. Yeah, correct. They have WSL. So you can basically run Linux there. I have a virtual machine, the one that I'm showing at the screen right now, running Windows. I have to use it for the university, but every time that I use Windows, it's like, man, I don't understand how
Yeah.
people can. I just, I don't know. I got so used to Unix, right? The terminal, and switching to Windows is completely different. But I do understand that there's a lot of people that need to use Windows, especially if you develop applications for Windows, you have to, or if you develop games, of course, you have to use Windows. But
True.
yeah, every time that I use Windows, I'm like, man, I don't like this at all. At all. I would switch to Linux. Probably no, I won't switch to Linux. Too much work. I don't want to spend time on that. But yeah, I guess you're not a big Windows fan then.
No. Microsoft in general, so just because some people make like, oh, I don't like Windows, I hate Microsoft, right? I won't make this distinction. I think Microsoft probably has some good tools recently as well, like I don't know, like VS Code and a TypeScript. Right? I mean, I'm not a user of both, but I think they're actually not using them, so I also can't say much. But yeah, Windows, I just the PowerShell in the I can switch between Mac and Linux quite easily. Like that's,
the same
you
thing.
say that
Yep.
it's a POSIX. So also people so people understand like there is POSIX and like Unix is one branch, Linux another one, but they kind of share this POSIX format. So it's the same, right? You type the same commands because they're compatible. The shell like bash, zsh, they're POSIX compliant. But Windows, like I won't be able to do anything there. I won't be able to list the files. I'll be stuck in this. And back then, I remember I used it to some extent at work to run some SSH client server. And I remember even back then, for everything there was a kind of this window application because it was Windows. So
Putty.
like
Putty.
Putty, exactly,
Putty,
yeah.
Man, yeah, horrible to SSH
Right, like
into
this
stuff. Yeah,
small window SSH, and
yeah.
then what? Like, I don't know, SSH is a protocol that's based on the
And the
text, right? Or
terminal, yeah.
exactly, yeah.
Just use
If you
the
want to
terminal.
copy text, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. And we already touched on window managers a little bit, right? So I
Yeah.
guess you don't use a window manager in macOS at the moment.
I'm not sure what you consider a window manager. So I use a raycast, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah, it has like a built-in window manager, right?
I'm not sure. Do you call this window manager? It's it
Uh,
cannot.
I
mean,
would say that it
they
has
actually call
window
it.
management capabilities, but I wouldn't say it's a window manager itself. I'm not exactly sure, to be honest. No, but when I would say window manager is something that takes over complete control, like you buy, and it just takes over your windows and organizes them. You don't have to think about.
Yeah.
But I don't know how Raycast works, to be honest. Do you have to?
So if I can share my screen, I'll
Yep.
show you. I
Yeah,
have only two.
Let me show you your screen.
Good to go? Because I
Yep.
don't see if it's sharing. Cool.
Yep.
So it's funny. I switched from. So before that, I used rectangle, and before that, I used a spectacle app. So there are kind of different apps with hotkeys to move the window to the left part, to the right part. The problem is that I'm not having a big monitor, and I like actually big font. I don't like small windows that are everywhere, right? I'll be just lost. So I have two hotkeys now. It just make full screen or almost full screen. And almost full screen I like because I'm, as you can see probably from my screen, I'm very minimalistic. I hide top menu bar. I don't have anything there. Like, I don't need time. I won't be locked in. Right? It's very popular to say now. It's just being locked in. But
And
by
with
the way,
your
just
psych, with your what's the music you said? Your trance music?
yeah, kind of upside trance, side trance. Like,
You're locked in even more.
yeah, actually, lo-fi would be better. Some Ghibli music style and just
like the coffee shop stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that. And I can work because I know my time. I have it on my phone if I need to. We already have so many distractions.
Yeah.
And I want to have less. And I've been going sometimes. I would rise my setup and then unrise it back. I tried Yabai, but it's not about that. I think Yabai has potential. I never use split screens unless it's a terminal. So for example here, but in the terminal I use then tabs or panes, right? So and I use panes here not because I kind of need to split information, just because I don't want to lose anything and I want to switch, right? So I want to, maybe this is not a good example, but where we are, I don't know, we lost. So new pane. Maybe here I run the as server, and then here I open the Neovim or maybe another command, and I want them to run at the same time. And because we use multiplexers, I want to just open this session or tab and then be all at the same time. So it's not about Windows anymore. So only here I use tabs. Yeah, and also what I didn't like in kind of just putting two windows on the sides is kind of one has a focus, another doesn't. It's
you can only focus on one at a time. That's what I heard the Primogen. I don't know if you've watched them or not, but I watched a video of him and he specifically brought that up, right? One screen at a time, one monitor, one application at a time. Because even if I have two on the screen, I'm only going to be looking at one of them, right? I'm going to be switching between them. So why have two, right? Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I'm not sure if you see the font. I like bigger font.
Yep.
Just to feel comfortable, like for the vision, just in general. Because also maybe I record videos from time to time, so I put the font. In the terminal, it's 22 probably. Where is that config ghostty config, right? So 20 anyway. And 22 maybe in another editor I use. I can show you later if you want to. So I'm not only using Neovim, actually a little bit less Neovim than another IDE. But yeah.
Okay, interesting. And we already touched on this a little bit, right? But single screen or multiple screen? Based on what I can see, it's just a single screen. And is there a reason why? And is there a reason
It's
for that?
single screen, and you mean single screen like a desktop screen, like a space, or you mean physical screen?
No, physical. I'm sorry. Yeah,
Physical.
monitor. I meant monitor.
Monitor.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have monitor, but how I work with that, as you know, in Macs, actually, in Mac has very big issue with that, right? You connect your monitor. It works the best if you just close it, right? And then, so I do that. So I have one screen. It's either the screen of the laptop or the monitor. And when I use the monitor, I close the Mac. Because I don't like to move between them, move the head around.
Yeah.
You know,
like
it's
this
again,
the whole
it's a
day.
guide about this locked in. But yeah, biggest screen is good. I think I want to improve something about that. So I put a web camera on the monitor. So then I can, never even open the laptop. Because right now, for example, I'm working and I have this thing that, yeah, I'm coding, then I need to jump into the meeting and I have to open my laptop because that's where the
camera.
the camera, yeah, right. And that's not very, and then I forget to connect to monitor and I'm working on this small screen, sitting not right. Yeah, so I think these web cameras are not that expensive and they're kind of good quality, so I'll probably just gonna buy one of those and be done. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm also a single monitor person as well because of the Primeagen, because of a video that he shared. And it made sense. I used to have a big TV as a monitor, a 55-inch TV. And I used to have all my applications all over the place. And it was a mess, man. It was really difficult for me to switch Slack. Where is Slack? I used to grab my mouse and search for Slack. Obsidian. Where's Obsidian? There it is. Where's the terminal? No, man. So
Yeah.
single monitor. And one of the biggest reasons why I decided to use a single monitor, because I have the monitor and the laptop, but I always have the laptop closed unless I'm doing this type of thing, a call, right? That's when I have the laptop open because I need to see you and I need to see my screen. That's the only time when I use it. Otherwise, just a single screen. Because if I just grab my laptop by itself, I want to be as efficient on the laptop compared to my monitor, right? So the workflow doesn't change. If it's a single screen, it is the same if I'm just using the laptop or if I'm just using the monitor, right? It doesn't change. It remains the same. So I can be as fast in both of them. So interesting. And
Yeah.
which terminal emulator are you using at the moment?
It's a ghostty, so obviously new thing out there. It's the same. I think I would be. It's just a terminal emulator, right?
Yeah.
I think there is a little bit too much hype for ghostty recently. I've been using iterm for a while, and then a little bit warp. I'm not sure if you heard warp.
Yeah,
def.
I've heard about it. Yep.
That's no go for me. Too much again distractions, and I want terminal as clean as possible. Like there is AI there now, which is great. Like I don't mind some AI, some LLMs, but also it's funny because terminal is so as sacred places, right? Let's say my mom has a Mac, for example, right? She would never go to the terminal because that's where advanced stuff happening. Yeah. And then you bring this unauthorized AI in your terminal to run some commands like listing the files. A bash is very sensitive. You can write commands that just remove all the files, for example, or spin up too many processes. So what happens if this, like, obviously you verify the commands, but still I don't like having AI in the terminal. I would rather go to a Gemini or ChatGPT, ask the question. Looking good. Maybe copy paste still. So yes, not ideal, but at least kind of this intentionally. I would ask a proper question. Am I switching? Yes, but I don't mind. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, it's ghostty, and I think I have one thing about ghostty that's interesting. So yeah, it's written by what's his name?
Mitchell
Hashimoto, right?
Yep.
It's in Zig. So that's actually what's funny, because that's how I came to Zig as well. So I'm now learning Zig. Have a small program. If I can share my screen, I'll show you.
Yep. Let me show your screen.
Yeah, it's called ZigPing. I'm not sure if you have it installed on this machine, but kind of there is how you call it, a command line tool or terminal UI to ping your website. So like you can give it the list of websites and it will kind of build this graph. It's similar to ping command on what's that? I think it's, let's say my website, my blog, right? So it just pings, right? But there is no graph. There is Go version which is called gping. I don't have it installed, or do I? Do I? Wow. Interesting. Right. So I was inspired by this program, which is written in Go, I believe, and I was learning Zig because I heard about Zig actually from Ghostty, and Zig is very, I think, still early adopted language. It's not even 1.0 version, right, or 0.1. I don't know what's the version, but kind of cool language, I think. So thanks to Ghostty and Mitchell for that. I think we'll learn a little bit more of that. Yeah.
And you mentioned that you use Ghostty for no particular reason. Did you jump also through wezterm and kitty? Did you try those, or you jumped from iterm to Ghostty?
I had brief moment with alacritty, and so I'm comparing these. I think even iterm. So yeah, it was iterm. Warp dev for a while actually at work. Then until I think warp dev was in beta originally, and it was not public. So I got some invitation private. So back then it was such clean terminal. It was fast, and then every week you get these updates. Like more and more buttons appear in your terminal. I'm like, oh, it's enough. It's enough.
It's not a terminal anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, because you had workflows there that you can save these scripts. I mean, I can save my scripts in the bash file, in .sh file, and execute them if I want to. Yeah.
Yeah.
What else they had there? I mean, AI recently, but also notes and comments and sharing this session, which is rarely I share the terminal. I can share the screen, but inviting someone kind of to share the terminal, I mean, I get the idea. It's similar as pair programming in the editor, but maybe in the terminal. Never needed that to pair programming in the terminal. But yeah, so I had alacritty for some time. Never tried wezterm or kitty. I'm not sure even if they run on. I think wezterm runs on Mac, but kitty, is it only Linux?
Yep. Kitty works on Mac, wezterm as well. Yep.
Cool. Yeah. So I think it's comparable, right? They all. I mean, not sure if they all, but kitty. There is this protocol or library, libkitty, right? And so I'm maybe not mistaken, but the Ghostty has very similar support, right? It can show the images right in the terminal, interact with pixels, how they called graphemes, I think. So it's similar in this, and there is nothing much. There is great, easy configuration in the file. So Ghostty is great. That's what I need as a minimalist. And so yeah, is it for everyone? I don't know. Let's see, but I think it's great, and its early version just was released December last year, end of December. So it's very early tool, and already I think half of the internet, from what I see, using it.
Yeah. a lot of. I don't know if you already created your Ghostty video, but a lot of us have contributed to that. I created 2-3 Ghostty related videos. So, being honest with you, I don't have a specific reason to choose Ghostty over kitty and wezterm. The three of them, you can view images, which is something that I need to, because I take my notes in Neovim and I paste images in Neovim, and I view the images in Neovim sometimes. So the three of them support that. That's that's why I don't use alacritty. If alacritty would support images, I would probably still be in alacritty, or maybe not, because I would have switched to Ghostty just to create a video about it, and you should too. But
yeah, if I can share my screen.
Yep, let me show your screen.
Again. Cool. So I'm not sure if so what I'm using right now in the ghostty, it's a zellij, and also I started using it recently, so it's multiplexed, right? It's kind of
Oh,
tmux.
zellij. Okay.
Yeah. I'm not sure if I even pronounce it correctly. Is it zellij?
I don't know. Everyone
zellij?
pronounce it differently, so we're good.
So I heard that people understand it. It's zellij.dev website. You can find it out. I think it's some Arabic word, but anyway, I have tabs and I use panes. But before that, I was actually not so bought into this idea that I need multiplexer because I rarely save sessions and go from, let's say, one PC to another, and I need to reopen, kind of attach to my old session. I need panes and tabs for sure. And I think for that specifically, ghostty was really great. And so I'm not sure if all right, there's this tab. Let me just, how do I exit maybe from zellij? So it's just tabs. Let's just maybe exit all the tabs. Where is it? Cool. So now we are not in the zellij, and the panes are great and it's kind of these hotkeys, and you kind of move between them. And so this is a ghostty, right? So it's not multiplexer.
Oh, that is ghostty. Okay.
Yeah, and this is much better as compared to maybe other editors. It's fast. I like it. And you can close them back. Obviously, it's not saved anywhere in your session or in your session or anywhere in the tab, but it still remembers. So if I close it now and open it again, it will have the same tabs. The content will be lost, right? So because it's not multiplexer, but still kind of I can continue where I was with the same folders. So I was like, it was always enough. Now I'm entering this world of zellij, but I'm still not using multiple sessions. I have the zellij with configuration. I hope there is nothing sensitive here to share. Substack. So how I use zellij, I just attach to the single session, which I call with my, who am I? So a username, right? And yeah, it's kind of silly. I don't use sessions, but again, it's minimalist, right? I want to have one session, and I also can reuse this config between different workstations that I have, and they all have different username. So I can just, go there, and it'll be different session. Kind of easy, yeah. It's very similar setup, yeah.
So you don't use sessions too much in zellij then, right? Just
So it's a single session, so I kind of still use it because it remembers where I was. It remembers because I think this session itself has a lot of information. It has tabs and it has panes, and it has some other maybe information, like I think you have floating windows. But it's already enough. I can pack so much information into this session, and I can switch that between tabs. So how I use with that, I use tabs for grouping the types of activities. For example, I have one tab for package main as my YouTube. So there I run maybe activities. So I have package main repository open there, and maybe kind of would be Neovim, but not always. And then at work, especially, let's say I'm working on a project, and this project needs two tools to run in parallel, and maybe Neovim to quickly edit the files or configuration. So I have these three panes, and it will be in the tab for this project. And all right, in this hour, I'm working on this project. I'm opening this tab and I'm working there. But it will be one session in the zellij, or I think similar would be in the tmux.
Oh, okay, I see. Interesting. Okay. And what's your IDE of choice? Neovim, but you mentioned you have other one as well, right?
Yeah, maybe we can talk about that. So it's Z. And I think, so you can share my screen now. So it's Z. I was sharing this in, I think before, right? It's minimalistic, and it's not because I set it up minimalistic. It's actually the idea of the editor. It's to be minimalistic as well. I think it's Z Industries, the company called z.dev website. I'm not sure. It's quite new editor out there. It's written in Rust. So the idea is to be as fast as possible and to be minimalistic, but also have all the features that VS Code has. So extensions, right, and LSPs, whatever you need for development. It's not that customizable, obviously, as Neovim. But yeah, so I'm switching between both, right? It's Z and Neovim. I'm writing a lot of code, and to be honest, I'm faster still in Z than in Neovim. I'm using Vim motions here as well. So I mean Vim mode. People say that Z has the best Vim mode out there. It's very close to Vim in general. Easy to kind of switch, but I mean you can do obviously like changing side quotes, right? So all of that you can play it here. Sorry, there are some errors here. I just opened this project. Some dependencies are not installed. But yeah, you can again kind of open the editor here. So I have very similar experiences I would have in Neovim, except that I don't have things like very custom, like a telescope viewer, which I mean there is a version here as well. Like you can just Command P and then your files, main.go files, for example, right? So it's not that customizable, obviously, like it's built-in plugin, but yeah, I like that. It's cool. It's open source. It's very similar to VS Code, but again, VS Code, Microsoft, vendor log, that is different, right? So
I see.
Yeah, try it out.
And you feel or you switched over to Z, or you're mainly using Z because it's faster, right? It's a dedicated application, so you don't have to bring up the terminal. In the terminal, then open Neovim and then load all your stuff, right? So this is just written in Rust, and you feel that it performs. It's snappier, I guess. Is that right?
It's snappier, yeah. Because I think it's also important to tell. I think there is a myth that Neovim is fast, and it is fast, right? It's in your terminal, right? It's written in C, if I'm not mistaken. Like the plugins are written in Lua. I think they don't. I mean, it could be slow, but it's not the fastest out there. People say that Neovim is the fastest. Not. It can lag. It can hang because there are still things like LSP servers running in your background, right? So let me kind of go like maybe open the Neovim here, right?
Okay, I'm gonna share your screen.
Oh yeah, I thought you've been already sharing it. Anyway, so I'm not sure. Plugins loaded, but it's very similar experience if I open a Z, right? It's still using LSPs, so I think Neovim is great because it's customizable, right? I think that's the great option. I can show my plugins. Again, I'm minimalist, so I don't have much plugins out there, but like opening a telescope to see the files, right? It's something that you can configure well. Like you can configure which files you want to see. That's something that you cannot do in Z. But as a developer, let's say editing the code, which kind of calls a GoPLs as a language as server. And I want to talk about language as server specifically a little bit more, because that's how the editors become more similar and similar between each other. Before they've been very different. Now, kind of, and I think Neovim now is also become very popular because of this language as servers. Now, it can, like, you don't need to write much in Neovim to make it really productive, because you can just connect, let's say in Go, there is a GoPLs. And I'm sure, because I opened the Go file, let's maybe open the editor, maybe, let's see what that would be called, GoPLs. So you see it's like Neovim running the Go language as server, right? So the same would be in Z, and I'm not sure if Z is running here. Yeah, so you see Z is doing absolutely the same.
The same language server.
Yeah.
Okay.
In a way, maybe different version, right? Because they probably all install. So in Neovim, I use Mason. It's kind of this, if you work with languages, there are language servers. So let me close this. Language servers, LSPs, right? And I have for Go, for maybe for other tools, for Rust, etc., linters and formatters. But especially in LSP is something new in the kind of software world. I think Microsoft developed that or established that not so long ago, and I think it's part of developing VS Code. And it's been great because now there was a big problem M to N, or M multiplied by N. M is amount of editors we have in the world, and N amount of languages, right? And so they've been, for each programming language, there was a editor developed specifically for that language. So for example, for Go, it's still very popular. Like there is a Golang. For C there was like C line, right? For web development maybe it was WebStorm. Obviously you could kind of many more of them. Now there are extensions and LSPs. So now the Neovim doesn't need to develop anything new. It can just integrate this LSP that's written by the Go community, right?
By
and
the
then,
Go,
yeah, just
okay,
go.
yeah. And Z as well, right? They can attach to that LSP.
Yeah.
And
yeah, then you can configure which language server to use. So there's a default one. So I don't have anything set up for Go because I use a default one. But let's say for YAML, right? I want still use the default one, but maybe adjust some configurations. And I would do absolutely the same in Neovim, right? So yeah, they're becoming, I think the editors becoming more similar. Obviously, there are some editors that are going more in the AI, I don't know how to say, ecosystem, like Cursor and Windsurf, I think it's called. I'm not a big fan of those.
Yeah, me neither.
I use AI, but not in the editors.
The editor, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So between those two, you're switching between Neovim and Z, right?
Yeah, and I think I'm developing more in Z if it's because I think I like when I do Neovim because it's all about typing, right? It's less about using mouse and copying and visual. So it's nice feel when you want to work on some personal projects. So that's why I recently started. And actually, by the way, I'm new to Neovim, so I'm still exploring. I think I'm good with plugins, so I'm kind of past the setup phase, but I'm still into the motions and maybe macros. So I can do everything. So, and let's say I'm working because I'm employed and I need to deliver some feature by the end of the. I mean, it's not by the end of the day. It's not like that, but still I need to work fast. And in Neovim I would struggle probably. So I still use that for that because I kind of maybe moving files and I think there's a challenge. I'm getting better with that now with a search and replace. Let's say I can do in Z search. Let's say I want to replace maybe let's say word interface, and I want to
switch to your screen. There.
Yeah. Let's say I'm in the project, which is current working directory at the moment. I want to replace the word interface, sensitive search, everybody in the project, right? Furthermore, I want to see where it is in the files and maybe not do everywhere. Maybe I want to open this file and kind of see first, right? All right, using in this context, close it, right? Going back, I want to search more. And now I'm sure because I've seen everything and maybe now I want to type kind of what I want to replace with, and maybe it's like interface 2, right? And I want to maybe one by one or all. So, it's very basic information. I know that Vim people would probably hate me because you can use set, obviously for that, or you can use, I used Spectre for a while.
Spectre, yeah. There's a new one. I switched back to our cameras, by the way. There's a new one called grug-far, that NVim. Man, it is amazing. It allows you to select not only a single line, but I can select a paragraph in my text, right? I select the text, I bring up the plugin, and it will automatically search for all of that paragraph in all of the files. You can specify on which files, right? Or just the current file. And you can replace the entire paragraph or something else. So yeah. I used Spectre, that NVim before. Yep.
If I can show my terminal now.
Yep.
Oh, like my new. I installed Grug. I asked people on Reddit because I didn't like the experience with Spectre. I think it had some issues, so I wasn't using it right. I was using global find and replace, and then Spectre would create these temporary files that had been lingering then for a moment. So I was not that happy. But yeah, I have Grug. I think I do. Search and replace. So that's the Grug, right? Now let's say, I think it uses rib grab as well by default, but let's see, same example, interface, right? So it's very similar experience probably, right? So do I have to exit the insert mode? So all right, normal mode. I can open the files. Can I open the file from here? Or it's then I need to use. So there's some experience, but will it be fast as I would be in other editors? At some point, probably yes. If I again invest more time.
Yeah. That's the thing. You have to invest a lot of time. Let me see about grug. I'm not sure. So if I bring this up, if you look at my screen right now, what happens if I search for? This is what I was trying to show you. Let me see what I can search. Image of. I'm gonna search this. If I type here, leader S1, that's just a key map that I configured, right? It's going to search for this text only in this file. So it automatically picked that up because of the key map. I configured the key map that way. But if you want to search, let's say that I search image. What happens if I hit enter here? Oh yeah, it opens the file actually. That's nice.
Enter. So you went the file. Right, cool.
Yep. I just hit enter on it and it opens the file. Let's see, test markdown. Yep, it does. I was not sure about that. Yeah, I'm gonna switch to your screen right now.
Yeah, cool. So we can try this out. Oh, what did you click? Actually, was it a preview, right? So I clicked down for some reason. Interesting. So I was there, click down, was a preview. Now I'm not in the search, but yeah, if you learn, obviously. So a grug is good one. I think Spectre was similar. Grug just has a little bit better interface because it's at least there is some colors. I think in the functionality wise here still uses rip grep, which is really good command line. So technically you can actually even exit Neovim and rip grep interface. Yeah, and then for search and replace you can obviously use set and something, but sometimes you just need visuals, right?
Yeah, you're right. Okay, I switch back to our screens right now.
Yeah.
And nice then. Nice to know that you used. How long have you been playing with Neovim?
Quite fresh, I would say less than half a year. So maybe 5 months, maybe half a year, around that. Yeah. I started with a lazyvim first, which was great. But then what happened is, the lazyvim comes with many things, which are good for development to start. I think, is it made for developers? I'm not sure, but it's kind of all the LSPs there. First of all, I don't need all. I need 5. Thanks, lazyvim. But what happened is the configuration was disable. So disable this. So it's not you're not configuring much. I mean, some things, yes, you are changing the configuration. Let's say the keybind is maybe in few places, maybe in other things, but mostly it was about disabling for me. Again, I'm minimalistic. I don't want many things in my Neovim, like kind of this. I think there is this snacks plugin that makes everything nice. I like when there are some errors and just like a line. That's it. So it was about the disabling. But what's good, it showed me what plugins are out there, and you can then select and maybe replace few. So I just like, all right, cool. Now I know what I need, and my current setup is 10 plugins probably. That's it. Colorscheme and 10 plugins.
Okay, and you use your own config, or you still use lazyvim, the distro? It's my config. I'm using lazy as a package manager. The package manager, okay, yep.
Package manager is it called package manager?
Yeah, the package manager. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but you do you still use the lazyvim distribution? Because there's the lazyvim package manager and there's the lazyvim distribution, and the distribution is the one that I use. So do you still use that, or you created your own config from scratch?
It's my own, and I can show you briefly. If I went to my screen.
Yep.
I have this nice. So I do FC. So no matter in which direction, because how you work with Neovim, right? You're working on something, and then you're like, oh, I need to edit the configuration now because I'm missing this thing here, right? And that's, I think, it's similar to Linux probably as well. You want to customize everything, or just like, I mean, something could be optimized, which is it's a power, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I do like I'm working on the project, so I'm right now in the this folder, but I'm FC, and then I'm in the kind of config files. But yeah, it's where do we start? I know this one is where do we config lazy, right? Yeah, but just is I think it's a package manager only, and then as you can see, I'm having just a single configuration file. So all my plugins are in the single file, which is more than enough. I've seen people usually split into
multiple files.
This is yeah, editor things are going here, color scheme is going here, LSP is going here. I'm like, this file is not that big. 350 file. I'm as a developer, it's nothing to me. I've seen files with 1,000 lines of code, so easy to, and I kind of know what's here, so I can just. But I'm not sure how many plugins are there, but maybe around 10, 15.
Around 10,
max,
okay.
Right, yeah.
Interesting. Okay, great. And what file explorer do you use in Neovim? Do you use the Neotree or?
It's right here actually, yeah. It's Neotree, yeah. I haven't used any other, so can compare. I know that, correct me if I'm wrong, but Neovim has its own, I think it's called netrv, right, or something.
netrw.
Yeah, right. Is it a default one, right? Or,
yeah, I think that's what comes by default. I think I'm not exactly sure, but I never used it. You know, I used Neotree from the beginning, and I used oil a little bit as well. Let me show you my screen. I have a few. I have oil is installed. I think I don't remember how to bring it up. I think it's liter minus. No, oh no, that is Yassi. Hold on. Oil is just the dash symbol, right? So this is oil. I used it for a while. I didn't like it too much, you know, because I can use Vim motions and all that stuff. But I used Neotree for a long time. So this is the one that I started with, and I used it for a long time. And then I moved over to mini.files. And the only reason why I switched to mini.files is because of the preview. I can see which file I'm on real quick. I'm on my notes here. Let me switch to my .files so I can share more stuff here. And I like that about it, you know. If I just hover over a file, I can quickly see, okay, this is this file. If I go to my key maps file in Neovim and I use this mini.files, I can see, okay, so this file has this other one has this. I don't know, it just, the preview helps me quite a bit. I think I got used to the preview already, so I can kind of glance, you know, at a file and see, oh, okay, so this is what it's what that is about. So that's what I mainly use, but I did use Neotree for quite a long time as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
I use I like when you explore the files and see the preview. I think it's important, and I think a telescope does nice previews as well. So sometimes for example, if I share my screen again, right?
Yep. I
can open Neotree again and browse the files, even with mouse if I want to. Like just go here, but it's a lot, and most of the cases, and I think I know what the file can be named, right? I have some idea. I have like maybe it's Go file. So most of the cases I go telescope and I go say main.go. I mean, obviously this project has a lot of files, but I can then open them or preview if I want to, right? So it's kind of not always you need Neotree or any file editor, but it's nice, I think, for the big operations when you want to move a folder to a folder, or create a file. Sometimes it's easier not going to kind of and to run a command here. But yeah, still learning and exploring, I guess.
Yeah. Something interesting that you mentioned right now. You use Telescope. I use Telescope as well for a long time. And the way that I usually navigate files, I use Minidat files sometimes, but only if I need to create a file, right? I usually do this if I need to create a file or delete a file or create a directory and all that. But if I need to open stuff, I usually bring this up. I used Telescope in the past, but I recently switched over to Snacks Picker. It's what it's called. So I just go to the file that I want to go. But what I like about this Snacks Picker is that similar to in Telescope, right? If I go to my, let's say what file, the keymaps.lua file, right? I can scroll in the preview on the right. I like that a lot, that I can scroll there. And I can also view images, AVIF, this. So I like that. I like that a little bit. And let's see, File Explorer. And what color scheme do you use?
I've been switching. I think I'm at this point that I have to create my own one. It's just so I've been using mostly, I think, for the most time, and even before Neovim, because these schemes, the color scheme, there between. I mean, usually it's a global thing, right? It's between editors. It's rarely it will be just purely Neovim because it is colors. You can apply it everywhere, and you actually want it to be the same on all the like zellij and ghostty and Neovim, for example. I mean, you want them to have the same scheme. I'm using right now Tokyo Night, a darker version. I like what it's called. It's more a contrast, right? I like. Before I was using a Capucin. I really like this one, Capucin Mocha. It's more, how's it, kind of pastel feeling, a little bit more.
Yeah. It's not too bright.
Soothing, right? Not too bright. Yeah. But sometimes you can see things because it's like everything is kind of gray, kind of like milky. So it's like, and I recently started. You can type, or I can type. It's called Cyber Dream.
Oh, I have seen that. Let me bring up my screen. Who used this? Lazar Nikolov. I had a Cyber Dream. Is it a Neovim color scheme only?
So it's I tried it for a while, and like I said, it's not. There's a link you can click if you scroll in the README.
Here?
Yeah, there's a terminal themes. So if you click on that, on the link.
Hold on. Where is? Oh, this one. This terminal themes.
Yeah, exactly. And there are multiple things where you can apply it, and actually in Z as well. So I tried Z actually with Cyber Dream, and it was not the optimal experience. So if I want to apply the color scheme, I want it to be everywhere.
Yeah.
And it was okay actually in Z. It was not great in zellij as well. So. It was good in ghostty. Zellij was not right. So yeah, that's why I'm like I like the theme. Should I probably write my own one that can be I can change the colors. But I mean you can do it. It's Neovim, right? You can obviously fork even, right, and change the colors and borders. So, but I like this because it's contrast as well.
Has a lot of contrast.
Sometimes though it depends. We see there is this third color which is greenish term when there is it's very bright. Yeah, it's nice color when it's when it's a little bit of it. When you open JSON files or CSV, it's like everything is green, and it's if you need to find a text and you want to spend some time, your eyes will start hurting. If you work with code or things where the colors are mixing, like a little bit of blue, a little bit of red, or yellow, then it's good. When it's like one color, it's like, wow, it's too much. It's too...
I always make jokes about Groupbox. I don't know. There's a lot of people that like Groupbox. So look, your eyes wouldn't hurt with this. This is something that my grandpa would use. And he...
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of people that love Groupbox. There's a lot of people that hate it. I don't know, 50-50. But I just like playing with Groupbox, you know. I don't use it. I don't know if I'm ever gonna use it, but I
Yeah.
did create my own color scheme. I don't know. I just use these colors. I just wanted to have all of them, the background to match and all that. So I apply them everywhere, not only in Neovim, but I apply them in Ghosty. I apply them in tmux, which is the bar here at the top. Also in sketchy
Right.
bar, everywhere basically, right? So
Right.
it involves a lot of work. And what tool do you use to push to GitHub? Do you use LazyGit or do you just use Git commands?
I use git commands. I use if I share my screen again.
Yep.
I use git commands, but with a twist. So I use. I think do I have LazyGit installed? I have it because I made a video maybe, so I should have some changes here. I was working on that. It's great, but I don't need all of that most of the times. It's too much for me. It's so I use all my ZSH, and it comes with this Git plugin which does a few things. So instead of Git fetch, I can do GF, right? And
Okay.
Git pull. So let's say I do GF, right? It's the same. So to save few keystrokes, that's nice. LazyGit I think would be good if I want to review. All right, because this is my personal project. But let's say where do you want to go? Maybe comments or sorry, maybe comments and yeah, maybe kind of browse through the history, right? That's nice. Much better than to do it in the Git. Though you can do it like Git log. There is a better version. Do it as well. So and actually, I find this is actually more cleaner than new TUI. So yeah, I'm switching, but mostly it's pure Git. Yeah.
Pure Git commands. Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, but you
Yep.
use some aliases here and there. Okay. And how do you? Oh well, you already shared that you're using zellij, right? You're not using tmux, right? So
Yeah.
why did you decide to go with zellij instead of tmux? Because everyone has told me to switch to zellij, and everyone is like, "Have you tried zellij?" I'm like, not yet. Why did you go with zellij?
I think tmux is more popular, right? I mean, it was there before zellij for sure. Tmux is like my first job. I remember people using tmux, and I'm like, why do I need this? And actually, I used tmux actually back then. I remember for a few things. I'm not sure if it was sessions or not, but back then it was more. We've been working with manual servers, kind of a bare metal.
Servers, yeah. To
In
keep your session in a server. That's
yeah, for
okay.
that. And there were multiple servers, so I want to type command and execute it on multiple servers. Let's say deploy. Actually, I was doing using tmux, so just type the same command, like let's say run deploy.sh script on all of that. And it was more complex than that, obviously. Now I don't deploy that to multiple servers. I don't need to, how you call it, kind of spread the command to send it to multiple shells.
Yeah.
I don't do that. But recently it's funny, Actually, I wanted to try tmux, and I have Homebrew, so I'm using Homebrew as a package manager on Mac, and it has some issues with tmux because tmux needed some dependency, and it was already installed because I'm switching between users, for example, on Mac, so I have not global Homebrew installation, I have local user bound installation of Homebrew, and it's kind of I don't have this package, I need to compile it, and it could compile. I'm like, cool, let me try zellij because I just wanted to see, like, because the functionality is the same, sessions, tabs, you can set them. So like, all right, if zellij works, I'm gonna try it. Zellij worked, so it's not because zellij is good that it compiled. No, I had some maybe problems with my setup, right? But yeah, that's just how it worked in the last, and yeah, I'm with zellij for the last few months, so let's see how it goes. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you installed it, it worked, so you just went with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's software is the same. It works for me. I guess I'll stick with that. Sometimes it's just choices that lead to that. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. And what keyboard do you use? We've been on the call for almost 2 hours. I know you're busy. It must be it's like 6 p.m. for you right now. So I'm just going to speed it up a little bit. What keyboard
We can
do you
speed it up.
use?
Yeah. Yeah, the keyboard. So it's not now. It's, I think for the year, maybe more. It's NuPhy, NuPhy. It looks like that.
Okay.
It's 75% people
I
call it
noticed you
desktop like
shared
that.
it in my Discord
Yeah,
yesterday.
yeah,
You
because
shared
there is a
a
channel. I
yep,
think
yep.
because people haven't shared this one. People shared splits,
Splits, yeah.
and I think you're using split based on your icon there, right? Which I'm not. I haven't seen this one.
I'm using
Is it
this keyboard. It's called the Glove 80. It's curved and it has
right?
these buttons on the right. These ones, the thumb clusters. I use
Yeah.
those a lot, and think they're quite useful. Been using it for less than a year. I don't know, like 7 months, something like that. But I just started using it because of pain in my forearm, so I had to use a split.
So that's what people tell me, and sell me the idea of this split because I've been programming. I don't know for 15 years, and then school always keyboard. I know it's horizontal, right? So I guess it's not our natural position of the hands. You want to hold it like that, probably even. So I'm not sure. I think this idea, but I never had the pain. So I think if I want to try split, but I want it to be that you can tilt, right? Have you seen
Okay.
this Kinesis keyboard, for example, where you can just tilt it and then kind of do on the sides, right? That kind
Yep.
of sounds interesting, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, but you don't have the need to switch to a split. I did it because of pain in my forearm. So I guess if you don't have the need, why? Why bother? My fingers hurt now a little bit because this one is not flat. This one is, it's quite a bit elevated, as you can see there. So I wish my hands could rest directly on the desk, but I don't know, man. We'll see. And do you use AI? Well, you mentioned already you use AI. Just how do you use it? Just in a radar basic way?
Yeah. I think I use AI a little bit less than AI uses me, but yeah, of my as creator kind of articles, but yeah, I use from time to time. Obviously, I'm not vibe coding now. That's not for me. I'm this iterm, right? When you just give it a prompt and create full applications, but I do it unconsciously, right? So I open the ChatGPT. Actually, I'm not using ChatGPT. So I use mostly Gemini. For some reason, just go to Gemini. I like how it works a little bit better. Like the interface also better, but it's similar, right? The 2.5 model it's nice from the Gemini. The code produced is okay. So also sometimes it's routine operation. And like let's say what was the example? I would say I have a list of 5 items or maybe more items. Say I have a huge list. I'm like, write me a function to do that. Write me a function to do that. Yeah, so I do, and then I like to be all right. Thank you. I'm going to my editor, doing the rest, which is maybe more hard, trying to find like where to save it, how to name the table probably. So I want to ask Gemini how to name this function, right? This is like leave it for me to do maybe more artistic work, let's say. I don't remember who said that. There was one woman. She said, I want AI to do my a laundry, so I have time to do my art, right? So it's not vice versa. I don't want to do, kind of AI do the art, like images and articles, writing articles, and I have time to do the laundry. Right? It's not fun, right? I want to do the opposite. So more robots with AI, yes. Less involvement in the art, I would say. Less involvement in the editor. I've been using Copilot a few years ago in the editor for auto completion. It was interesting experience until I just realized that the quality most of the times is not the best, and even now it's questionable. It's hallucinate a lot. Sometimes you want to disable it completely. So yeah, I'm just now going to chat mode and asking it.
Yeah, I use it the same way too. Just ask it for stuff, but I don't like it to take all the decisions, right? I may not know something. I just go there and ask for information. I validate that it's information. I usually provide a documentation, right? Let's say that I go to a repo. I don't want to read it. A repo that has like a 10,000 line readme. I'm like, I'm not going to read this whole thing. I just need to do this fast. I just print it as a PDF, upload it to ChatGPT, and I ask it questions about the readme. I tell it, don't make up stuff from your, I don't know, database or whatever. Just read the file and answer my questions. I like doing that quite often. But like you said, I don't like for it to take the decisions for me. I just want it to be a helper, right? But not a decision maker, basically. And
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah,
Are
because
you?
the decisions AI makes, it's not fun first of all, but also most of the cases they're just dumb. Like why did you? And
Why did you do that? Yeah.
yeah.
And
So,
you spend more time asking it, why did you do that? Now fix it. No, it's
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And then you at the point that you realize that like it can't solve your problem, and you're already into this problem, so why you better waste this time actually trying to figure out how to solve the problem? And then because once you figure this out, I think that's very important, and especially in the software world, software development world, really important to still know how to learn things, because the memory will serve you best always. Like just learn it once, hard way. Read the books, read the manual, buy a book. Maybe it's not a book. Like watch detailed YouTube video, right? But try to learn it. The next time you can ask AI if you want to, but it's just to speed yourself some time. Otherwise, if you won't understand it, AI won't help you much. It still will be, unless it's very sophisticated AI, that probably would happen at some point. But yeah, kind of learning is still really important. And I'm afraid now with junior developers, it's becoming hard because you want to deliver something quick. So your instinct would be like, let's go to AI. And then yeah, you will develop something that you won't learn.
Yeah.
And that's really dangerous, I would say. So let's see what the engineers will be in 10 years from now. Maybe everyone will be really kind of dumb, can't do anything without AI.
Without AI, that is possible, very possible. All right. Are you working on any projects at the moment?
Yeah, if I can share my screen.
Yep. Let me share your screen. Hold on. There we go.
Yeah, I mean, not much. I mean, on GitHub, there is. I mean, obviously, I'm employed, so I'm working for my employer. So that takes already 80% of my energy. And yeah, it was a YouTube channel. I like to do some things with open source. So I maintain this practice Go kind of repository collection. It's a challenge to learn Go, kind of similar to lead code for developers, but I created, and it's focused on performance, right? So people try to submit more performant things. So like maybe one person solved, actually have to review this one. Someone sent it to me, so kind of more performant solution. So I kind of create them and monitor. So this maybe. What else? Self-hosted things. It's building this self-hosted service as code platform. Yeah, so just some self-hosted thing, right? It's not to rely on what are there are tools for service, kind of like service, few others, but they're all on the cloud. So you can self-host your own one. So yeah, few projects, open source ones on my GitHub. You can see
your GitHub. Okay, wonderful.
Yeah, YouTube and few others, but that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Okay, GitHub and YouTube. I'm gonna leave a link to your YouTube and also to your YouTube includes everything, right? So
yeah, hopefully.
YouTube and GitHub. Just send me the GitHub link and I'll share it in the video description as well. Do you have any favorite CLI applications in?
Many. I can switch to the ghostty again, right?
Okay.
I don't know how to rate them, but So as a developer, right, obviously, I mean, CLI, I mean, there are CLIs and TUIs, but let's kind of call them, I like a fuzzy finder. I mean, it's used in Neovim, but you can just invoke it with FZF. So just to list the files, right? Again, kind of filter. So actually, Neovim uses the same tool. So it uses this fuzzy finder, FZF. But I like it kind of, you can preview the file. So I like these tools sometimes because I use it also for, I'm not sure what will show up now because it's history. So, but if you do Control R, right? So it's kind of, I think we can show it, but there's nothing wrong here. So it's used here. Then more TUIs I like. So I work with containers a lot. So I've been using Docker Desktop for some time. Now not anymore. So I'm using Colima. It's a container a runtime. So you can run your Docker containers. So I don't use Docker Desktop anymore, just Colima, and I can start my VM. Let's actually start without Kubernetes. You can kind of open it, edit your configuration. Let's say your VM needs like this CPU, whatever, and then it's Vim, so you can just exit it and it will create a VM for you. So yeah, let it run for some time. You don't need every time, just create it once. And then once it's ready, I'm using lazydocker. So it's funny because you asked about lazygit, right? It's a similar tool, or I mean not similar, a similar looking tool because it's from the same developer. Is it Jess or Jessica? We can.
It's Jesse Duffield.
Right.
Jesse Duffield, I think.
So I think both tools. So if I'm in lazydocker, obviously I don't have anything running at the moment, but it's similar and it's really, really helpful because kind of exploring your containers, killing them if you want to, see in the logs. So I'm using this a lot now. So I don't need any desktop applications to work with containers now. I can use dive command, for example, to dive into these layers. I'm not sure if there's anything built, but
I have a question about this Colima tool. Is it like a hypervisor or is it like a container runtime that like, does it replace Docker completely or what is it?
So yeah, it's a container runtime. It creates a VM for you and then does everything about containers. So for example, you can specify which architecture to use, right? Like it can also spin up a small Kubernetes cluster for you. So if you do Colima start edit, I think it's already running, but there is somewhere, you can do it all, by the way, with command line flags, but you can say Kubernetes enable, I think it uses K3S. So it's a small Kubernetes cluster. Version of Kubernetes, it's runtime, and then you can use then Docker commands to just interact with your VM, right? So it replaces Docker Desktop as a runtime because, and it's about vendor lock, right? Docker Desktop. So there is a Docker and Docker Desktop. Docker Desktop is owned by the Docker company, which is, I mean, I think Docker Desktop is not free for commercial use. So for people who are using Docker Desktop should be careful. I think it's for smaller teams, it's fine, but if it's a bigger team. So Colima it's open source, it's free. There are other alternatives. So Colima is similar to Podman, for example, right? Podman has their own things, but kind of.
So it's a replacement. So I don't like the GUI that Docker Desktop has. I don't like it at all. I installed it, because at the company that I was at, I needed to run containers sometimes in my computer. I usually don't run them in the computer. I run them in a separate server, right? But so is this like a replacement for Docker Desktop that allows you to run containers and you run your Docker commands and all, right? Like Docker compose up and all that stuff.
Yeah. So for example, like I have DB start. I think DB start, but let's say in package main. I had DB proxy, right? I can do Docker compose up -d, and it will just, because the Docker daemon is running, and I think it's on some Unix as socket, You can do it with Docker Desktop or with Colima. So I can run the same command and it will just work. It will pull. It will be just through the Colima VM that it created, right? So you don't need GUI at all. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. So that's why you started that VM. I was like, so is it a hypervisor? So you just start the VM so that it can run the containers, right?
Yeah, because Docker at desktop, as I understand how it works, it does a similar thing, right? Because I think there are protocols like obviously like which architecture to use, etc. But there is a VM that needs to be existed somewhere and sandboxed.
Running all the containers.
Yeah, exactly. And for the storage, where to pull credentials. And you can kind of have a small VM, have bigger VM, have multiple VMs if you want to. So with Colima, because it's a CLI, you can configure it to, I don't know, like run multiple ones, right? Automate it a bit, yeah.
Oh, okay, wonderful. I switched to our cameras right now. So
Awesome.
Those are your favorite CLI tools. Do you have any favorite macOS tools like desktop? I see that you're very minimalist, so I don't know if you have any applications that are your favorite in macOS or just the terminal.
Do you have any applications at all? Like, I have browser. I wish there would be a nice browser, by the way. Yeah, I'm not. What browser are you using? Because I've seen you have this side thing, and then.
Oh yeah, the browser. Let me switch to my screen. I switched to Vivaldi. That's the one that I'm using right now.
Interesting.
Yep.
Interesting.
I like to
haven't
have.
Heard it.
You haven't heard about it? I have tried all of them. I tried. What is it called? Zen? No, Zen. Zen is the browser. Right? Yep. I tried Zen. I like the vertical tabs, but then I couldn't install applications because I install applications in the browser. I have a YouTube application that I switched to. So for example, here I have this application and that is YouTube, and I switched to my browser and the terminal. I couldn't do that in Zen because Firefox doesn't have support for PWAs. So I ended up in Vivaldi. Vertical tabs.
Apps, right?
Yep. So I ended up in Vivaldi. It has vertical tabs, which is something that I like. I can hide the sidebar because sometimes my screen is small, so I just need to get this out of the way. And PWAs, and that's basically it. The little thing on the right hand side, this tool is the one that I used to take. It's like my to-do app, which is basically Neovim, right? So I just use it like my to-do app for multiple things. Yep.
Nice. Yeah, about the browser, there is this project from his name. I may just pronounce, like, I have bad memory for names. Maybe Andreas Klink or Clank, something like that. Ladybird browser. Have you heard about that?
I have heard about it. I haven't tried it.
I think once it's there in some beta, I'll switch because it's a browser for people. Then it's not vendor lock. Like there is, browsers existed for some time, and it's still people are fighting for control. Kind of Google, Firefox, Microsoft, etc. And yeah, I just want to some open source browser. But your question was about apps. I think I like. macOS apps, right? Raycast. Raycast is great. So I use Raycast. But also I'm not using everything there, just to kind of here and there. Obviously there are more. Let me see. I'm just like counting apps in my head and like this is shit. This is because this is Electron. This is browser. It's not an app. That's what the world I like native apps. I think the apps should be like that. I think there should be some app store that bans all the Electron things because they just require more memory, weight much more, right? Like I've seen there was a person that wrote really nice looking file manager that can do many things, and he did it maybe in C, for example, but the file size was 2 megabytes. Like for the whole application, I think the minimal size of Electron app is 300 megabytes or something like that. So yeah, not official, but yeah, so it's hard to tell. Right now I'm using Brave as a browser. I think it's great because it just blocks the ads properly, respects the privacy. That's important, right? So again, kind of back to the topic of privacy. I think it's still Chromium based. So the question is, what happens to the Chromium project? We don't know. But as a privacy first browser, I think it's doing its best. So shout out to the folks.
I was using Brave as well, but I had a problem. If you look at my screen right now, you're going to see that I have Brave open, right? But if I switch to my terminal, you're going to notice that this little menu, well, let's see. No, it's not going to show right now. I don't know why it's doing this. Let's see. Let me bring it up again. Oh, yeah. If you notice in my terminal, you're going to see on the left-hand side that the tab thingy, this tab, because I can hide it, and that's great, but it remains there. I can see it in the back of my terminal. You may not see it in the image, but that's the only reason why I was using Brave and I was happy about it, but then this happened because Yabai is the one that makes my windows transparent. So yeah.
Interesting, yeah. Kind of some
I don't know. Weird issue.
Z index problem.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah, I brought it up in Reddit, but no one mentioned anything, and I was like, whatever, I'll just look for something else, and that's why I ended up in Vivaldi. Yep. And do you have a home lab or not yet? You're planning on?
Not yet. That's, I think, a next project. I mean, if it ever will be, because again, a storage SSDs, time, money, it will end up, but definitely it has to happen. Especially for the photos, I think videos. I'm okay still to pay a few bucks to Netflix if I want to, right, or Spotify, because it's not about owning the data, is consuming, right? So if to consume, I can consume public data through some services, right? But to store my own data, I think we need to think what's the more private solution out there that's also robust. So definitely will be a project for sure.
Interesting. Okay. We already went over the process of migrating to Neovim. I don't know if you want to add a little bit more to this.
So yeah, I mean, Neovim, I mean, it's Vim, right? So I never used Vim or Neovim as a main tool for development, as you noticed, right? So it's now Z. Before that was VS Code. Before that was Atom. I remember it was at some point NetBeans, if people remember this. Just Visual Studio, not Code, but just the original one, which is like really powerful. Like 20 years ago, such a powerful editor, but kind of locked and for some specific languages. But that was I was using in university, and a few other. I mean, a Sublime text was really great. But always Vim was there to manipulate or to work with servers.
Yep.
Again, you open some file, like work with Git to write messages. So some motions I knew, but not to be really fast. So like macros, I never went to macros, right? I never went to.
Yeah, I don't use macros either.
Things I don't.
Yeah.
But if you want to be productive as you do in other editors, you have to know them. So that's, I think, my journey at the moment. So I kind of knew how to obviously navigate Vim and exit it. I heard people have problems with that, and so it was kind of okay to try it out and try the customization options. So in this way, it's great. LSPs work out of the box. 3-seater is there. But still, I think the main problem for me is know all the motions and be comfortable with them. And somehow disable the updates. That was. But I'll open the new Vim and like, let's update everything. I'm like, cool, but can we not? I
not do it right now.
Yeah, I'm sure you can do in this Vim. There is a setting and then just do by like invoke the lazy, open it, and press shift U, I think, to update or something like that. But yeah, otherwise, what else? I think lazyvim, I already mentioned it. I think if people want to try Neovim, actually, I'm not sure if I can make this recommendation, but yeah, try it out at least. Lazyvim. There is another one I tried, Kickstarter and Vim. I believe it's from TJ as well.
Yep.
Maybe not. Yeah,
TJ,
but it's kind of nice, and it follows my brain patterns because it's in a single file. As I remember, all the plugins, all the configuration. I don't need to switch what to find. I'm like this file, and I'm going one by one. Like remove this one, change these settings. So from Kickstarter, I ended up with some kind of medium configuration for myself, and then I'm like, oh, cool, that's pretty much it, right? What now? Package manager do I use? Lazyvim is popular now. I haven't used others. Haven't used. There's a packer, right, and plug, vim plug. Oh, I think these are the vim plug.
The old ones,
not from you. Yeah, the old ones. Yeah. So yeah, that's the journey. Yeah.
Yeah, it is overwhelming. When I remember when I opened lazyvim for the first time, and you open whichkey, if you press space, you get a menu with 1,000 options, and it's like, what the hell is all of this, right? Yeah. Space S, and then a lot of other key maps in there, a lot of files and a lot of extras, and there's, yeah, it takes time to learn.
But whichkey, yes, as a plugin is really great for exactly this reason, right? To remember, I'm really bad with remembering key bindings, especially not mine. You install the plugin and drag default ones, or you just copy paste some configuration, and yeah, it's kind of hard. So it's nice, and yeah, I like it to be minimal, but I like it to be there, like leader S, leader F, for example, right?
Yeah, something that I've recently switched to, and you may be interested in this. I created a key map. Bulky already has a key map like this in lazyvim, but I just mapped it to Alt K, right? So if I switch Alt K, and I don't remember how to do something GitHub related, right? GitHub, this, paste the GitHub link, because I don't remember my key maps a lot of the times, right? I add a P to them like this. This -P means that it's personal. It means that it's mine. It's not a lazyvim key map, right? So I remember, how did I do this with my key maps? So I just search or to paste images, right? If I don't remember how to paste an image to Imager, for example, it's Alt-I, or rename the image under cursor. I will not remember this, right? So I usually come here and execute it directly from here, or just see the key map, right? I don't know. I think I find this a little bit faster than whichkey. I used whichkey a lot in the past, but now I've switched to this because I already memorized all of them almost. There's a few that I don't remember, so I just come here and search and just kind of refresh my brain a little bit. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But you see, like there are and that's why Neovim is good. It's for all people because it's customizable, right? Like for example, you need this granularity of having, like, I don't have a key binding to paste into Imgur or anywhere, like, and we'll never have. It's just like I like to have like 10 key bindings, maybe the main ones. Learn the Vim motions as much as possible, and that's it. The rest. I'll do from terminal, or maybe from the finder, or maybe from somewhere else. I don't know. We'll do somehow, I guess, because I won't do it that often, right? So
yeah,
I think key bindings for me is like if you do it often.
Often it makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Or the command is very long, but also like let's say, for example, I must have a key binding to format the code or the file. Like I use formatters a lot, so for me, it would be like leader F, like a format, or like FR, because F is kind of files as well. So I'll do find files, FF. So finding files, formatting, but for everything else, I'll just somehow figure out. So, but yeah, Neovim is good because you can do, I mean, it's for everyone, right? You can go as you like.
Yeah, you can do anything that you can imagine. Requires work, but you can customize it to exactly how you want. Okay. So I'm just gonna show you channel here one last time. If there's someone still watching, I'm pretty sure there's someone watching. Emptiful is a person that is in my Discord, and whysoserious. Probably they too are watching. So guys, and if there's anyone else watching yet, remember, go and subscribe to Alex or package main. I don't know, however you prefer to be called. I'm going to leave this in the video description. I'm also going to leave your GitHub page. Just send it to me. Okay, so Alex, is there any final words? Anything you want to say before we wrap it up?
Not much. Obviously, thanks for having me here. It was nice talking to you. Not for the sake of making any video, just talking to you as a person. Yeah, I've been following your channel for some times, and also on the Discord. So people, yeah, just what's my name there? I think it's Der Gopher, whatever.
Yeah, something
maybe
like that. Yeah.
you can pin me here. Like, if you want to learn Go, come to me. Can help you with that. Just hang out. I think as developers, it's important. So yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I appreciate your time, man. And you brought up something really important. When you do these type of thing, YouTube content creation, you get to know a lot of people. I've met a lot of people that know a lot of stuff. So I just like learning from everyone, So thanks for sharing all your knowledge. Thanks for having your YouTube channel. If I have questions about Go, I'll reach out for sure.
Yes. Yeah. And I also learned a lot from you just on this video and just in general, like Neovim and stuff. So
yeah, Markdown is my thing. Mainly Markdown. If you have Markdown related questions, just ask, and I'll be more than glad to help.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, Alex.
Awesome.
I'll see you then.
Cool. Bye, everyone. Good day.